What? Oh my
Ah,
god. Oh my god. Yeah. So I picked a film. It was reasonably good. There was bits in it I was a bit like, this is a bit.
I think that's why our scores were so different.
I kind of, because I'd not. So the reason I picked the film was because I remember watching it ages ago and thinking, oh, this is a really good film. So then I thought, oh, I could pick this for film club because, why not? And yeah, it still held up, but there was bits in it that I was a bit like, ooh. It was mainly the love interest or the
yeah.
oh dear.
yeah. It was
We're already
kind of
on
like,
it. We're already on it.
You know,
it was just when she said, oh, I love you, and he spits his milk out, I was like, yeah, that's how my soul feels.
You know what? At that moment, right? So I was sat here watching it, and I was sitting here with like a bottle of Ribena, and then when she said it, like me and Leon had the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, just milk
when you
whenever.
told us, and I got to that scene, I just started laughing uncontrollably.
I don't know. It's
What? Sorry to interrupt, Dan. What cut did you watch? The original?
Yeah, that's what
or
I'm interested in as well.
the extended cut.
I watched the director's cut.
Oh,
Why?
It's the
Why is
better
that?
version.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why? I
It's
picked
the director's favorite version. That's for sure.
Well, that's the problem.
so the one I picked was the 4K Ultra because I
Yeah.
watched it on the telly.
That's the one Emmanuel saw.
So what's the big difference?
Basically, everything that made you feel uncomfortable isn't in the theatrical one.
But
Really?
the theatrical version is also quite choppy.
It still works quite well as a film, as in the way I saw it is that if you just watch the theatrical one like me and Alec did, you kind of feel that this is just a good father-daughter relationship kind of thing. But the ultimate director's cut version kind of like it extends that relationship a bit more, an insinuous one. That's a bit more
in a way that you
even if the character work is better. Like
so you're telling me the original one I watched back a few years ago or 10 plus years ago is basically like a safer work version.
Yes, basically, you could say that.
A safe for life version.
Yeah, that's why they made it.
Oh, this is a bit odd.
That's the
that makes sense because I don't remember it fully because it was so long ago since I watched it. But that kind of makes sense. Where I was a bit like, oh, this is a bit. This feels a bit uncomfortable.
There was actually something that like I didn't know whether to tell you or not because you remember how you marked 7 down a little bit because of Kevin Spacey.
Oh. Are you going to make me change my thing because someone's a bit?
Yeah, this is a similar.
Yeah, I'm not making you change your scores, but like I was like, I don't know if I should tell Dan because I don't want to like spoil the film for him. but like so the thing for me, right, is I'm always quite interested in why things are written how they're written. So like I always do a bit of research into like the background of the writers and sort of like what they were trying to get across and things like that. And so at the end of Leon, I was kind of sat there and I was like, I'm really uncomfortable, but it was a really good film, and I want to know sort of like what the purpose of me being uncomfortable is. So I did a bit of like I say, I did a bit of research into Luke Besson, and it turns out that he was directing Natalie Portman to do all this stuff as a 13-year-old, and he was then going home to a teenager that he got pregnant.
Yeah, she was 16 and he was 32, I think, right?
When they got together, he was 31 and she was 15.
Even worse.
So that's why I tried to score it in terms of like, I thought it was a good film, but I couldn't enjoy it.
It's tough, really, because it's one of them things where you kind of, when you watch a film, you don't think of that. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
No, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't have known unless we looked into it.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
known. And it's kind of, yeah, it's a bit, I don't know, it's odd because that kind of stuff, it always plagues shit like that. And you, as you said, it's a good film, but yeah, you can't excuse that kind of thing. Yeah, you know.
There's there was a scene that they had to cut from the script as well. So basically, Natalie Portman's parents, basically they got it written into her contract that they dial back like the sexualization of her. And
Right.
one of the scenes that they had to cut out. Do you want me to read it to you?
Sure.
Right, let me find it. 1 second.
I hope everyone doesn't watch this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Cut this bit. You just
Luke
bleep
Besson
it.
will fucking get put in prison. All of his films will be banned.
I'm surprised he isn't already in prison, if I'm honest.
Europe, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Oh, he's French.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Yeah, well, sacre bleu.
Oh, God, of course. It's always these French films that are always near the mark.
Right, so this is the scene that they had to get cut from the script because of Natalie Portman's contract, right? So Matilda says, "I want you to be the first to touch me, the first to make love with me, nobody before you." And then the stage direction is, she stands up and modestly gets off her briefs without taking off her dress. Leon cries, unable to oppose her. Matilda is too young, but she's also too beautiful, lovely, and sweet and tender. She sweetly, very sweetly gets on him. And then Leon says, "Why me, Matilda? Why me?" Matilda leans over to speak in his ear. "Because you deserve it, Leon." Leon embraces her. He's full of happiness, shame, so many emotions he can't control very well. But hell, how beautiful it is seeing them sweetly make love.
I think the stage
No.
direction
Yeah.
at that end bit is the worst bit.
Yeah.
No, are you
Yeah.
fucking serious?
Yeah.
Leon's
Oh.
character should not be like that.
No, but it's no, why?
It just taints his character.
But she's 12.
Yeah.
She's 12. Oh my God.
Director's also French.
Oh, fucking- oh no, that's just. Oh, no.
Well,
Oh,
I was saying to the others earlier, like, I think it's the thing that makes me so uncomfortable is how it's written, because it's kind of written as if paedophilia can be romantic. And that's
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
oh.
I mean, there was a time in the
You gonna
90s.
defend that, Pat?
No, there was
that
in
enjoyed it.
terms of the character of the director, wasn't there a news thing where there was a lot of cases of nonsin in France in the
Oh,
90s.
you can't say that.
I mean, I don't remember it.
But
Maybe
then
it's-
I thought I can't really throw stones considering.
Oh
what
my
happened.
God.
I can't really throw stones at another nationality considering what happened with the NXT UK guys.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a nationality thing. I think it's a Luke Besson is a nod thing.
It's a European thing.
Yeah.
Bad man. But yeah, that's terrible. I've got to say, I can't.
Because
just,
yeah,
I
like
don't know.
I say, like that was the thing for me. I kind of like, I can recognize that it's a really well written and a really well put together film, but that whole thing just really taints it for me.
It's a shame because it's, as you said, it's a good film, but
Yeah.
you just can't excuse this kind of.
Yeah. Thankfully, that doesn't come across as much in the theatrical cut. I think the only uncomfortable scenes I had in that one was where she does like the dressing up sequence where she dresses up as Marilyn Monroe and Madonna. And I think the choice of song for Madonna is a bit like cringy. It's like,
That's
can you
very
tell-
cringy. I was kind of watching that and I was like, this does not feel right. And then after I started looking into it more, I was like, that was not right.
It's the same. They just need to change like the Charlie Chaplin bit. Great, that's all she needs to do. Is just like this sweet little dress up kind of thing like that. And
Yeah.
Well,
the,
it's
the Madonna track.
So the verse. So did you all who watched the director's cut?
I did.
Rob and Pat.
So
Yeah.
like the bit where he says she buys the dress and she says, "Oh,
Oh,
do you like
God.
my dress?" And he goes, "Yes," and I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah, that was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit close to the sun for me. That was-
Bit close.
because the thing for me as well is like, like I was talking to Alec about it, and like the way that the characters are set up is really clever because you've got this kid who's got a really shitty life, and then Leon who's got a really shitty life, and they're both kind of turn into the same thing because of like how society has made them that way.
Yeah.
But the problem with that being so clever is that when you also tack on this little bit, it kind of sounds like Luke Besson is trying to make you go, oh, it's society's fault that paedophiles exist as well. Like it's yeah.
What's funny is like when you were running through all what you thought was wrong with the film, I sort of did some research on Luc Besson's films and ended up buying another 3.
Oh man.
Really, Pat?
You're gonna get yourself on a watch list.
he makes good films. It
Is
might
it
be
like-
questionable, but like
But
the two films that we've had for Film Club, one was a bit rapey and the other bit was a bit worse.
A bit worse.
Much more worse.
The thing
Mm.
for me is like, I mean, I'm not gonna go and like say that Fifth Element is like not as good as I thought it was because of this, but like because of the subject matter of this film, it just it's a bit
It's
too
a bit close to the
uncomfortable.
bone.
Yeah,
How did
which
they
is a
let this
shame
happen?
because, like I say, I do think it was a really good film, but just that side of things just taints it too much for me.
Yeah, but how did they get away with it? Because I would have thought, or was it just back then it wasn't so?
Probably that, but I think that had like that's why the theatrical cut came out. Is that Natalie's parents were like, no, we're not going to have this in there. We have to cut this. We have to do that.
Mm.
And then, despite that, they still managed to put
Yeah.
these little, tiny little
Yeah, but that just
bits
doesn't-
in it as well, just because Luc Besson managed to get away with it. But thankfully, it doesn't. It overall it worked. So otherwise, would have been talking. This film would have been a lot more controversial when it came out than it originally was. It's
Mm.
managed to get away with it for so many years because I think it's subtle enough to be like for someone like me and Alex to not really clock it until now.
I
think-
I don't know. It's one of them things where you makes you feel uncomfortable, but in the end, it's just like a father-daughter kind of thing.
That's what it should be.
Because
Even if
it's kind of that tangent of instead of it just because like that scene that Rob said, if that happened, I think the film would have been banned. Like
yeah,
literally, it wouldn't have. You wouldn't have seen it because it
Mm.
literally is just as you said. But I think it's because nothing happens, and it's just like he dies, and then she basically honors him. It's so it's tough, really. But
I think that's the thing for me. Like, I don't think the film itself was like too much as such. Like, there was bits that made me uncomfortable, but like, I don't think it's bad for a film to make you feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But the problem for me was just that like once I started looking into it and trying to like work out what Luc Besson was doing with it, the more I was like, this is dodgy. Like,
This is
You
it.
know,
And-
this film is probably the film I've watched the most in Film Club, like
Oh,
on a weekly basis. I've had to watch this 3 times.
Pat, you've got to stop before you get yourself on a watch list.
So
this-
the first time I
watched
watched
it more
it,
than Con Air.
that's
the
it.
first time I watched it, I was distracted by transfer news, so I didn't really watch
What?
enough of it.
Yeah, Ronaldo signed, didn't he?
So I decided to watch it again the next day, and then I watched the theatrical cut. I'll be honest, if it was just a theatrical cut, I'd probably knock the score down about 2 points.
See, if it was just a theatrical cut, from what I know, my score would probably go up by like, it'd go from 6.5 to probably about 9.
But the director's cut does a lot of human problems, let's say.
Human problems.
But I feel like if you
Oh, pardon.
take out the
And
fact of
Nancy.
what the director is like, the way that the characters were written, acted out, the pacing, and all that sort of stuff, it's near on a perfect film.
I wouldn't go that far. I do think if
Uh.
you take that side of things out, then it is a really good film. And it's a shame that all of that stuff's involved in it because it's Yeah, I keep saying it, but it just taints it a bit too much for me. But yeah, I think if you ignore all of that, then sort of the journey of the characters is really sweet. And I think the thing that annoyed me most about it is like we were saying, that scene where she says that she loves him and he spits out his milk. I think that was enough for you to go like, whoa, what the fuck? And for that sort of like that side of her character to be shown enough as well. I don't think you needed to sexualize her beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
that's yeah. Because you think in the real world, right? When you get people that are, well, you know, when you turn into a teenager, some people they get attached to people, right? It's a
Mm.
natural thing. It's like you always get the teenage girls who they'll like go out with a older kid.
Yeah,
right?
they're infatuated by a celebrity. That's the same sort of.
So it's stuff like that, but also like the fact of like they generally go for an older man because it's like their hormones or something like that. So it's understandable in some respects because she's had no like her life has been shit, and she's had this person who's actually been nice to her, so she's gonna get that kind of connection. But in that, what it should have been was he should have cut that dead, and it shouldn't have been said again.
yeah.
If it did, he kind of goes like, "No, this is not right. You're a kid." Da da da, and kind of you reinforce. It's like the whole thing about films, right? You do the moral thing of saying this is like murder, right? This is a bad thing. This is why you have like cop films. It's like these people are drug dealers. They're bad. We're gonna stop the drug dealers because they're bad. And you go, okay, drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. But it's that thing of it should have just been killed in the
Mm.
like literally gone. This is understandable because this person's had no role models, but also this is wrong because of this. Not just
Yeah.
gone because like with the dress scene, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
You shouldn't
It's
have
just that scene is just like no, and they I gather in the theatrical version they don't lay in the same bed.
got-
I gather that's not a thing.
they do.
They do. Oh, okay.
I mean, he's still wearing his clothes and that, and they're still kind of dressed.
Oh, so
but
that
The
yeah,
thing is, though, I don't think that scene would have been as bad if it wasn't if it didn't come from the scene where she's in the dress and he says that he likes it. So I'm
Yeah.
even uncomfortable saying it, man.
but no, yeah, I can totally understand why. Rob. But I don't really understand how this. It's a bit like the whole thing with Epstein, right?
Mm.
No, Epstein. What's his name? Who's the
Oh, Weinstein.
Oh,
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein.
That's him. It's like that whole thing of it just went on for so long that it just he got away with it so long, and then loads of people. It I don't know. It could. It's tough. But yeah, it's just now you told me this, you've kind of marred that film for me for life.
Sorry, man.
Oh.
I'll probably forget about it, to be honest. Not in a bad way. It's just yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just now you said that, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, it is pretty uncomfortable, man. I like how like when you picked Fifth Element, we were all going, Luke Besson seems really dodgy, and now this week we're all like, oh fuck.
Confirmed, guys. They've said it's been confirmed that he is a dodgy bastard.
Oh man, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, because actually, yeah, that you know,
Yeah.
you know the woman in the blue in Fifth Element.
Yeah.
The blue lady, yeah.
That's the teenager that he got pregnant.
No way.
Yeah.
She's a teenager.
Well, she wasn't at that point, but she
Oh.
was when when he got her pregnant.
Oh,
I think what I find weirdest about it is that like nobody seems to know about it. Because like normally for somebody like as big as Luke Besson, if they did something like that, you'd hear about it, and like people like us would know about it. But yeah, I don't think any of us did until this week.
I don't know. It's one of them weird things where like this kind of stuff. It wasn't so apparent back then, but now people have been able to come out and say, "Oh, this person did this," and they're getting done for it.
Mm.
Whereas, like in the past, like say the 70s and 80s, like these people would get away, like for instance, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring his name up, but it's like that whole thing was going on, and no one really knew, but the people were being made victims, and it's only because like in the present time that these people have been able to say things, and this has all come out. It's
Yeah.
just back then they probably thought,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It is
Oh.
it's a
but
weird
yeah,
one, man.
should we talk about what was good about the film? Maybe.
I've said my bit.
No, that's totally reasonable. To be honest. I could, yeah. So
But
like
yeah,
Good characters, good
But no,
acting.
Natalie Portman's acting in it is what will give. I think I'll give it a 10 for acting. Is just because she was so good as an actress in it. She just did everything.
see, I'm a bit weird on this one because I think everyone disagrees with me, but I didn't actually think Natalie Portman was that good.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think partly it was the way that the character was written. Like there was a couple of lines that I don't know, like I suppose her dialogue was like quite stylized, and it's quite hard to sort of seem authentic with that kind of dialogue.
I think your problem was
Luke
Stop.
Beson's a nonce.
I think that's basically your problem, even with the acting, because you've got that in your head that
Yeah,
you can't really see past it.
No, to be honest,
'Cause-
like even when I was watching it like before
She was a nonce.
before I found out all of that stuff. Because I
Oh,
was kind of
oh, he's getting the word.
I
You
don't know
gotta
what
believe
it
that.
is like. I didn't think she was that great. I also didn't think Gary Oldman was as good as he usually is.
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know. I think he was overacting. If I was
Oh,
gonna say
it
anything
was
bad about
intense,
him,
that's for sure.
but yeah, he was kind of like he was playing that that crazy person, even though he
Mm.
was not really crazy. I think it was inconsistent, if anything, Rob,
Mm.
because in the start you think he's like this unhinged kind of like bad guy or whatever, and then in the end he basically goes, "Oh yeah, I'm just a bad person. I'm just gonna kill him," and he doesn't have that kind of edge.
Mm.
He's like that joke of unpredictability. Just like, oh yeah, you're gonna die. Bang, he shoots him, and he doesn't have that. Yeah, I don't know. He's just it just feels inconsistent in the film. Like his character, unless the way they made the character, they did that. But yeah, it does feel a bit like he's inconsistent in his kind of psychoticness.
Well, something I thought was quite interesting is you know the scene. I can't remember if he says everyone or everybody, but where he like shouts it.
Everyone.
So apparently, like there was like loads of takes where he was just sort of like saying it sort of not calmly, but like quietly. So he was just saying like everyone, like that kind of thing. And then apparently like they kept doing it and they kept doing it, and he was just like, oh fuck it. And he signaled to the sound person to take his headphones off, and then he just shouted it. And then and everyone was like pissing themselves, but that turned out to be the best take.
So good to hear.
He got pissed off with him.
Good old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean, for me, I thought the best thing about it was the production, to be honest. I thought that was like pretty spot on. Like the way that New York was shot, and the score was incredible, I thought.
Yeah, the music was really underrated, actually.
Yeah.
I had this good stuff, the filmmaking style of how they did the close-ups and then the cut from one POV to another. That was just really clever.
Yeah. I always think with films like this that like I would have loved to go back to New York at that time and just sort of like wander around, because I think now it's sort of, I don't know, it's all a bit polished, but back then it was still sort of like dirty and horrible, and yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
Go to Barking. That's dirty and horrible.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
I've
no,
seen enough of Barking.
I found a new show that you shouldn't go to,
Oh yeah,
and that's Woolwich Arsenal or Woolwich.
I've been to Woolwich before. I wasn't very impressed.
I went there because we had a ball game event. One of the blokes I know, he had an event event, like a ball game event, and we went there, and I went outside, and I'm like, this place is a dive. It's just horrible. Because we went near where that. Do you know there was a kid that got stabbed the other while back?
Mm.
Never do
It was-
occurrence in London.
Oh no, it was in the square bit where the station is in Woolwich, and we was near there.
Oh dear.
That was great.
What?
Hmm?
What's the matter, Rob?
I know, I was saying I did, Stan.
Yeah, it was a bit of shit. But yeah, it's good. Some of the action scenes were pretty good.
One that I liked in particular was when Leon was teaching Matilda how to shoot from a distance.
Yeah, I like that scene.
And it's like I completely forgot the scene, and I thought that she was actually going to kill the bloke. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
And it's just a paintball.
the bit that got me was when they go in the bloke's house and they're like, da, 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 and she shoots him with the thing, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And then when she walks out, it goes bang bang and kills. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I really like that scene because I was kind of sat there going like, man, this guy is awful. He's he's about to have a kid kill a random person, and then when it was a paintball, I was like, yeah, that was very well executed. It was just like it was perfect, just like tension. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. and
And
she's
then
like, oh, when
killing
can we
him.
use real bullets? And it's like, no.
Yeah, I thought Leon as a character was really well written. Like if yeah, I keep coming back to it, but if you didn't
was
have
gonna
the rest
say-
of it, then I would have really enjoyed like just Leon being Leon. I thought he was really cool.
Jean Renault is such a good actor, though.
Yeah, he pulled it off so well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh,
Thank
Shouldn't
God he
say like
didn't.
that, Shouldn't say like that, Ben. Yeah, it's really bad that he's typecast now as like an action person, because I was looking on the Amazon Prime, and it's basically every film that he was in, or no, the two films that they showed, he was basically doing the same pose with a gun. I'm like, oh man, that's your life. Your life is I'm an action hero. Or
To be-
action.
To be fair, have you ever seen those two Steven Seagal posters? It's like there's two Steven Seagal films. They're completely unrelated, have nothing to do with one another,
Same poster.
and they were made like years apart, but they've both got the
Oh.
exact same poster.
yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm not even just saying like same poster is in like it's the same idea or whatever. It's literally the same photo of Steven Seagal.
Typical. He's pretty unimaginative.
Yeah.
If you look in a dictionary for wooden acting, that's basically Steven Seagal.
Oh, I always think you really like Steven Seagal for some reason.
I liked some of his films, but fuck me, he made Arnie look like an Oscar-winning actor.
I'm surprised he
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
won one.
Arnie.
Yeah, just for something. Like, even,
Ah!
He deserves something.
yeah, he's one of those people that you'd
Best
never
Martial-
say that. You'd never go like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger was amazing in that, but like you'd expect him just to win one just because he's been around for so long.
To be fair, I think you would say he's amazing, but not in the traditional way.
Well, you
Yeah, what do you
amazing that
mean?
he actually made in Hollywood.
Like where you're not going to say, "Oh, it was an amazing performance." You'll be like more like considering how funny he is, or
That's Alec.
how engaging he was in the specific film.
Yeah, like you'd expect him to get like a best supporting actor or something,
Yeah.
just as like a nod to be like, cheers, man. You've been around for a while.
Hello, Alec.
Hey, truck.
You're right, man. The sentient truck has arrived.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh, I've still got a normal name. Oh my God!
Where's John when you need him?
Where's Emmanuel? He said he was coming.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it would be here.
Yeah. So we've had the conversation, Alec.
I've ruined Humphrey's impression of Luke Beeson at least.
I didn't even have an impression of him anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think you got your mic on, Alec.
No.
I hear you, mate.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Marvelous. Yeah, did Humphrey come in like Donald Glover in that GIF when he comes in with the pizza and then everything's on fire? He's like, what?
So what? So what happened is I said, "Do you remember how you marked 7 down because of Kevin Spacey?" and then I dropped the knees, and Humphrey went.
Like,
So how do you feel, Hump?
yeah, I feel wonderful.
Violent.
I'd like to clarify that I didn't invite you to pick it like before me because I knew
Yeah.
that.
It was Alex's fault. He pressured me into it.
Oh man, what a dastardly plan!
That would be evil.
I was like, actually, Leon was going to be my controversial pick. No, you have it, Hump. Do it.
To be fair, I think Leon was certainly on mine and Pat's list as well. So I think
Yeah.
4 of us would have been on that.
Yeah, Pat was telling me about it just this weekend.
This is what's so upsetting for me because I've gone fucking. I watched this at uni, so I've gone absolute years without knowing any of this. So it is kind of its own separate entity for me, and I don't care to acknowledge Luc Besson. He can fuck off. Fucking
And if this was a dream and I woke up and this film wasn't picked, I'd still pick it.
I mean,
I'd be like, what was I drinking last night?
myths.
yeah.
Myths.
So what have I missed?
Oh, we had a bit of a rant about
Besson's nonsense.
That's
The
nonsense.
yeah, we talked about the whole thing about the cover up of Hollywood.
That's cool. I feel like
Hollywood,
Rob revealed the deleted scene.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's not.
yeah, which
it's not the best.
made it feel even worse, Alex.
I'll be honest, if that scene was in the film, I probably would have marked it down on that.
I'd hope you would.
Yeah. I'd hope if that scene
Only.
was in the film, then we'd have all been unanimous in
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think
going,
that's
this,
true.
this is getting in the way of it.
This is kind of the case of the
I
movie.
just think we'd all been on the sofa just going like,
Me,
Pat? And he's like, oh, I liked it. And I'm like, no.
for me, with the themes of the film, it sort of touches that line that you shouldn't go across. But I don't think
Really?
it fully goes across. For me,
What do you mean, really?
Really?
I
No,
think
because
like
that's the thing. It's like the different versions you watch have a different kind of impact.
Yeah.
And I originally must have watched the theatrical because I don't remember any like the dress scene and all that stuff. I just like, yeah, I don't know.
See, I think all that has like its place in the story, but like on the proviso, it ends with them both kind of meeting in the middle of like
This is
platonic
what-
love and
Yeah.
just being affectionate with each other without it being a sexual element. Like, yeah. If it's anything other than that, I'm kind of not not cool.
That's
Yeah.
a big fat no for me.
No.
yeah, like I mean, like I was saying to you the other day, like I don't disagree with it in concept. And I think like that there is I think it's a really well written story, and I think the idea, well, not the idea behind it, but I think what you can get from it is really worthwhile as a film, and yeah, I mean, like if it wasn't for Bison's personal life, I'd probably have like a lot of positive things to say about it as a story.
Fucking French.
But it's just that
We already said that.
it's just like I said, like it's sort of once. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing that ruins it for me is that because I'm interested in the thought process behind the writing, it's
Yeah.
a bit too questionable because of who wrote it. Who wrote it?
I was
Yeah.
going to correct you for a minute.
That's getting.
Because
yeah.
my read of it was, I know I kind of went into it in the group chat, but just for Humphrey's benefit, I was kind of read it as sort of Matilda. Sorry, this is just going without the context of Luc Besson, but I always took it as sort of like Matilda's over sexualization is sort of like it's meant to be sort of like nasty. It's meant to be kind of gross. That's why Leon's reacting so heavy to it. I think like that is like kind of a symptom of where she's grown up and how she's grown up and who she's grown up around.
Yeah.
And I think
Like,
and she is desperate to not be a child anymore, and to her that is the quickest route she has, or
Yeah.
she thinks she has.
so that's a massive, like, plausible thing, because I can understand that as it's a tough subject, but it's what happens. But actually, yeah, going there is a bit like no.
Well, I think it works in the context because you've got Leon, whose past is that he was in a really heavy relationship, like with someone when he was still living out wherever he was living, but like he was like young, and like so that all ended horribly. So he's now completely emotionally stunted. He just wants to be a hitman and just live out his days just taking care of himself, and he doesn't even know that he's looking just for just sort of affection. And so like she sort of like if he's like here and she's like way over here, their meeting is, I think, meant to she's meant to kind of pull him into accepting that life is more than just
Box of chocolates.
taking care of yourself until you die. What did Pat say?
He said a
Box of
box of chocolates.
Oh, yeah.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
A box of
Never know
nonsense.
Oh God!
I'm glad
one of them calls again.
I'm glad I went through the effort of saying all that for that, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. Like going that route is plausible because, as you say, you can see her family life is pretty awful. Like her mum dresses like basically a prostitute. Her dad's a drug dealer who beats her up, and it's like you just want to leave that environment.
But that's where she thinks the stepmom has power, is because of her sexuality. So, and then she sees her stepsister who's trying to make herself sort of more desirable in losing weight. I'm not surprised that's how she's read it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be as grotesque without her being as young as she is, without her being as young as that and having that understanding.
Yeah,
And then
don't forget.
Sorry, Ben.
I was going to say, don't forget the fact that she's smoking at such a young age. She's already kind of like, oh, I want to be an adult. I want to do this and that. And even though she's kind of like bashed and doesn't want her dad to know, she still wants to be an adult.
Yeah, I thought that was quite effective, you know, because like, as soon as I saw her on screen with the cigarette, I was like, get that out of your mouth. If I look at it from like, you know, sort of in isolation and sort of Luke Besson doesn't exist, then I think it is a really well written and a really well put together film. Like there's some bits of dialogue where I was kind of going like, ugh. But outside of that, like,
she's a bad half sister, and she's a bad half at that. I was like, that whole scene where they're kind of looking at each other, and it's like there's like the weird music, and she's like, what do you do for a living, Leon? And he's like, I'm a hitman. And she's like, cool. And they're both like just looking at each other. And I was like, this is weird. I was just picturing John watching it and going like, yeah, he's gonna not like that one. Like, it's just a bit cheesy scene.
When I was watching that scene, I was like, I feel like this was Pulp Fiction before they rewrote it.
I can't believe John went the whole time not realising it was Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
I know.
She looks clear as day. It's Natalie.
Yeah,
she's got
Natalie.
When he said it, I was like, oh, maybe she's wearing sunglasses or something. And then like the first scene that she was there, I was like, no.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie de Portman.
Natalie. I understand that. That's a dodgy thing.
Is it?
I think. Oh, sorry.
Is it Lolita? I don't know.
Lolita. Also, yeah, that is also.
I don't know if we want to open that Pandora's box.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's another.
That's another one that someone should not pick up.
I want to pick that because I haven't seen it.
Written.
And then someone picks cuties, and it's all just downhill from there.
Oh no, not that.
Ugh. Oh man, yeah. I was just about to say it. At least with Lolita, as far as I know, there's no kind of like background like this. But then I just googled it, and on the poster
Yeah.
it says, "How did they ever make this film?" And I'm like, I don't want to know.
Kubrick wasn't a nonce, was he?
I
I
don't
hope
know.
he won't.
Just for a minute, I was like, I really hope someone's saying Alita, and then I was like, no. That doesn't matter. The more we're talking, the more I'm realizing we're not doing
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think like kind of it's so nice seeing, because I think like this is a story about like just powerful people taking advantage of vulnerable people, and Matilda and Leon are kind of like symptoms. I think it's
I'll let you first.
I lugged out. We'll
like
go for that one.
You just went, I think it's a film about vulnerable people. We've turned this week's call into a musical just so Pat will duck his scores.
Nope, it's not working.
I was just looking at all the screens and I was like, I'm not saying anything funny. What's it? Right, I'll try again then.
Yes.
I think it's a film about
Lawnmower.
lawnmowers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it's about powerful people taking advantage of vulnerable people, and how like Leon and Matilda are like symptoms of like a society like that, and sort of just how much it stunts like both of their kind of maturities. I think the choice to make the story kind of about a hitman who kind of doesn't, I don't know, even have like he doesn't even have an adult's understanding of the world. Like I think that's really interesting. And I really like the whole thing with the plant where he's talking about how it's like his best friend, and they're exactly the same because they don't put down roots. Like he's done the illusion that he's not also a potted plant. He's not bound by anything. Oh, you motherfucker!
Sorry, that went. He's under the illusion that he's not a potted plant.
Based from Galaxy Quest.
He turned his phone off then because fuck it.
We've gone from the truck's a slut to Alec lagging out.
I'm just gonna lean into it. Just, he's under the illusion that he's not a potted plant himself.
He's not a slut truck.
He tried to say plant, but said slut instead.
He's not a potted slut.
I did like that the plant survived the whole film. Actually, that was quite
did.
quite a good thing.
Even though it got thrown down a chute.
Yeah, and the plot didn't crack.
He wrapped it up. He wrapped it up.
Mm.
Very well.
I thought the potted plant thing was so cool. Just about no, I'm all right. I'm still good.
Yeah,
It's fucking lovely. He's confused being able to change apartment easily with. I'm just gonna stop fucking. I hate
You're
my.
gonna stop fucking.
There was a but like years ago, you know, like there was a little thing where like Scottish people Twitter became a meme.
Right.
Do you remember that? So
No,
like, so years ago, like, and obviously I hadn't watched Leon at the time, but there was a bit on Scottish people Twitter about the plant, and it was somebody being like, the groundskeeper's lawnmower is going to get to the plant before the frost.
Right. I'm gonna just type this to Rob say because his internet isn't complete balls.
We're gonna take this.
Did I fuck's sake?
Did I
Oh shit.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Hmm.
What I quite liked about the film was the fact of, like, at the start, he's like a stone cold killer. He's like perfection. He can kill people without he's like he's invincible. And then as he goes through, and after he's talked to her and he's met her and stuff has happened, he slowly gets like less sharp at his job. Like when he goes back and he's been shot, I quite like that thing of he's been distracted by this kind of new thing, which is like a great development in the character building.
Yeah, like I said, like I think in terms of like a sort of technical kind of
Yeah.
story, then it's like it's hard to pick anything from it really. And just like and like I said, like I think one thing that it does really well is it there's loads of points where it builds tension and then just like lets you down. And yeah, I think given the whole kind of theme of like them being from a world where like they don't quite understand it and that kind of thing, that's a really effective way to tell that story, for you to keep going like, oh shit, oh no, never mind.
I'm gonna try and jump in again. Am I sounding any more together?
Yeah, you're good.
Fucking
Although I
hell.
haven't got the message that you sent.
No, it's because I turned my phone off. So
Oh.
it was interfering with my internet. I think it's
We'll
because
do it.
I think it's because I'm on NordVPN and that's just taken up my internet.
Oh,
And
really?
it's just wank. So sorry, NordVPN's good, but it's not good for this.
You don't have to use the VPN if you're not being the Denver Broncos.
No, I don't. No, that's why I've turned it off. So
That's
that's
the
all right.
Broncos.
Did I lag out at any point during that?
No, you're right.
Okay, watch me do it right now. So you're talking about the understanding of the. I'm just going to wait for someone to start laughing at me. No, cool. Them talking about how they don't understand the world and that. I'm going back to the potted plant. I'm going to try again. I like how he's confused being able to change apartments quickly with not having any roots in the city, and I think like it's such a fitting end that Matilda ends up planting the plant on the other side of the Hudson River, just to kind of let it be free. That's all I wanted to fucking say. But it sort of just shows how much Leon's got this very much illusion of himself and his place in the world, and he's not he's not aware that he's a fucking potted plant.
Yeah. I wondered if there was anything to that, because like she just sort of plops it in the middle of a field.
Yeah,
I
it's
wondered if
quite
there
nice.
was anything to that in terms of like it's probably going to die pretty quickly.
Underneath the tree.
I think he's just letting his soul free, like he spent his whole life in that city pretty much, and yeah, it's finally returning him to like the land basically.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really glad my internet's fine again and I'm not lagging out and you're not all laughing at me.
How did you manage to sound like an AI then?
I don't know. Oh dear.
Yeah.
No, I was a bit disappointed in the amount of like contrivances there were though. Well, I will say
a few.
there were quite a few.
I think the thing is for me, like, because like, yeah, I originally was going to give it the exact same score for story as you, because I was kind of picking out the odd bit, which I imagine you were as well. And then I was like, I'm going to have to knock it one more for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Again.
It's stuff like she goes back to the apartment on the exact same day that Gary Oldman is going back to the apartment. He's being taken back to reenact the scene so he can say his apartment number. Otherwise, then she never works out where he is.
Yeah.
He's hiding behind the bathroom door. Oh no, hang on, that wasn't one.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I thought that was quite effective, because
That was.
I have a bit of a fear of somebody being in the house without me knowing, and that kind of went ding.
No, I remember thinking that was one the first time I watched it, because I was like, he doesn't have any reason to know that she's going for him. So, but like you do actually see it. Like she is waiting by like this fruit stall, and like you can see him as he's walking in. He like looks at her, and then he comes back and looks at her again. And yeah that's kind of So that one's not a problem. No, the problem is her being saved by the news that the like Gary Oldman's second in command has just been killed by Leon. That's like a huge contrivance. Like this whole fucking city and all these missions, and Leon's just happened to kill that guy completely unplanned.
Yeah, I agree.
Him going through a whole police building.
Yeah, that's what got me. It's like, wait a minute, he walked in there and literally shot 3 police officers in an office.
He's like going out of he's like pulling desk staff like out of their chairs and beating them up. Like
beating them off. What?
You're getting caught.
Oh god.
Oh.
No, but
this is getting worse.
But that's the thing. It's you because I normally give like a lot of things benefit of that if it's good, but then that was like, wait a minute, you just went for a whole building of cops, shot 3 of them, and walked out without no one noticing that he just shot 3. Right,
and then beating them off.
And beating them off. Yeah. You're gonna die.
I want. It's one method of persuasion. Isn't it?
Any last words?
Where is Gary Oldman?
That would be awful.
Oh my god.
What have we done?
What have you done? Oh dear.
I inadvertently picked a controversial film.
I was saying earlier though, it's always yours that are the controversial ones. But I don't think any of yours have been a film that we've all agreed on yet.
Fury.
Oh,
The
did we all
first
agree on Fury?
Yeah, we all agreed it was quite good.
I thought somebody rated it really low for some reason.
I don't know.
What did John think?
Yeah, let's just have a look at John.
Yeah.
Always John, right?
Always John.
John Doe.
John Doe. Problematic one.
Oh yeah, I'm still not on the internet, so I can't look.
Not on the interwebs.
John rated it 7.2, which is in between The Fool and The Big Lebowski.
No.
Which isn't the insult that it sounds like, because John thinks The Fool is good.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing The Fool and The Big Lebowski in the same sentence.
Especially not with Fury in the middle.
Yeah, don't look at John's leaderboard if you're.
I haven't once.
I gotta tell you, it was fucking destroying something inside me putting it together. It was just like Bill and Ted cannot go above so many of these.
Midnight Cowboy is in between The Wicker Man and Reanimator. I did like Reanimator, to be fair, but John didn't.
I mean, I didn't like
You can shut
Midnight
up.
Cowboy.
Oh,
It wasn't that low. Reanimator is one of the worst ones I rated.
Fucking
Oh, fuck it up.
piece of shit.
Here's one for you, Dan. Pan's Labyrinth is in between The Room and Antichrist.
Oh, man.
Fuck.
That is insane.
To be fair, I did look back and I looked at my scores for Pan's Labyrinth and I was like, maybe I was a bit unreasonable that week.
I think you.
Yeah.
I did change my scores.
Good.
It's no
Alex frozen.
Black
It's no what?
like
What is in it?
What's in the box?
That's in the box.
Am I back? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Marvelous.
Alec, come back.
Going back to things I thought were dumb. He seems to, in the first scene, He seems to be teleporting around this apartment.
Oh, well, like the fact that he doesn't get shot through the shutter, but then he's behind him.
Yeah, that. He's up in attics. He's hanging off stairwells. He's just popping up like where he needs to pop up.
We're here.
Yeah, that was a bit jarring.
That's an action film thing, isn't it? It's always the way. It doesn't really make any sense, but it happens.
That was the weird thing for me, because like it didn't at all feel like an action film, but there were action film tropes in it.
Yeah, I didn't want to mark it down on that alone, but like that is. Yeah, that one is a little bit odd. Also, him hanging off the ceiling. No, hanging off the door frame, and then one of the SWAT team like full on like just shooting at him and just hitting his shoulder. I thought that was a bit silly. But I do like the whole thing of him doing sit-ups, like just to do that, just to be kind of being able to like hang off the ceiling and that and shoot. I thought that was really cool. That might be it. I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
I didn't expect it to be like that. I'm sorry.
I'm in a barn. I'm just hearing Steve Bovine going.
This has been an interesting chat.
I turned up, said some horrible things and burps. Oh dear.
But yeah, I think Gary Oldman's character is fucking excellent.
Oh, that's one of the things I said. His character's a bit inconsistent.
Ooh.
Because basically he goes from being like a psycho at the start, and then at the end of it, he doesn't really have them kind of weird, quirky moments where they're like scared of him. He just becomes into basically a bad guy, and he shoots them. He doesn't really keep that persona as such. I don't know.
Give me examples.
Or like the fact that, like at the start, they're like proper scared of him, and he's doing all this weird shit, and like he runs in the place, and he doesn't even say like we're gonna like when he just runs in, he just shoots them without thinking. He just comes and goes, fuck you, like,
asshole.
How the fuck would the police not go, why the fuck has everyone been shot? Like the woman in the bath, that didn't make sense. But I'm digressing. But yeah, like when he talks to her in the toilet and stuff, he hasn't got that kind of crazy nature about him. He just kind of seems very collected, and yeah, I don't know.
Just like when he goes, everyone.
Yeah.
Really calm.
He
said calmly.
that's like a monologue, isn't it? He shouts really loudly. Calm.
Yeah. Actually, the idea he's going through and he's killing people in the bathtub, that's probably a little bit hard to like justify. Although, like, you know, he can sort of spin the story as he wants. He could say that, like, I don't know, the drug dealer shot her. I don't know. Like, he can kind of say, because there's no sort of like account, like he's in charge of all of that, so he could just say what the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get you.
Shoot some.
I don't know about inconsistent, but I do like the this is probably going to tie into acting actually, but I do like his thing with the pills, and like that little bit where Matilda's sort of like watching him, and she can just see the back of his head, and he's like contorting himself into like this weird like fucking position, like just trying to bite down on it, and I thought that was a really cool moment. Like he's just fucking grotesque.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm doing a lot of the talking. I'll shut up. I've rocked up late and I'm monopolising the conversation.
To be fair, we've done a lot of the talking before you turned up.
We had,
Oh.
we had the hard talk, so.
Fair enough.
It's weirded out half of the group.
I'm so dirty.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Which apparently was a take he only did to make Luc Besson laugh. And he just went, brilliant. Just kept it in. Oh, Rob, did you listen to that Alt J song?
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that was. I didn't even click sort of when you said it really, but yeah.
I've watched the film and heard the song both in isolation. I think that Leon just inhabits this weird little potted plant in my head. But
What did plant?
it was only until he went, "This is for Matilda," and I was like, "Oh shit!" But yeah, the song is called Matilda. It's by Alt J, and yeah, there's too many lines in it that are referencing it to not be about it.
So what are we doing about John?
Wow.
I say we take him behind the shed like oh, yeah.
Revolution.
Are we skipping him because he's not here and not available, or are you picking on his behalf? Or
For John, I pick.
For John, I pick the room again. He
Oh,
loses.
he picks Knight's Tale.
don't even joke about that.
No, he did ask me to announce his film if he wasn't here.
Oh, fair dues.
Less.
Yeah.
Are we
Want
done?
me to?
Are we done talking about Leon?
Oh.
That sucks.
I guess we are done talking about Leon. No biggie.
Okay,
To be
I
fair,
got that.
it's quite a heavy subject now that we know what we know.
Sorry,
So
guys. I didn't mean to find this out.
I just want
You
to,
did.
I just want to clarify. I do not like Luc Besson. My score for this film does not have anything to do with Luc Besson. Luc Besson is not an object in my mind. Fuck him.
Not literally.
He is French, and therefore I do not acknowledge him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit unfair. Not all the French are like that.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
No,
You
they're
missed-
probably not.
You missed the start of the call, Alec, where we were talking about Luc Besson being a dodgy so and so, and Pat was like, "Well, I can't throw any stones at the French."
But the French you can near universally chuck stones at. Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Right. Do you want me to announce John's film?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
So John's film. Do you want to have a guess first, seeing as he gave us clues?
Yeah, let's give us make it a quiz. Well,
All right. Let me
That's
find
what
some
I would
trivia.
Right.
All right. We'll start with who is Pat's favourite British director?
I don't even know that.
is it Christopher Nolan? Christopher Nolan.
Your favourite?
I forgot about Christopher Nolan. Who is Pat's second favourite British director?
Oh, Ridley Scott.
I forgot about Ridley Scott. Who is Pat's third favourite British director?
Boyle.
No idea.
Oh, he's not. He's clearly not that much. Maybe you should pick a different clue because he's clearly not Pat's favourite.
Danny
Fair
Boyle.
enough. Who is Pat's favourite footballer turned actor?
Oh,
Vinnie
I know what
Jones.
this is.
Oh,
Vinnie Jones is correct. What is the highest grossing film that Vinnie Jones has been in?
I know what this is.
Euro Trip.
This is a
She's the man.
Is it a Guy Ritchie film?
It is a Guy Ritchie film,
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
Euro
Pat's
Trip.
third favourite English director.
at least.
Maybe. Pat is not sure.
That doesn't know his favourites. That is confused.
I wouldn't say Guy Ritchie is one of my favourites, to be fair.
Oh, I thought you
You
said he was last night.
I like him, but he's nowhere near one of my favourites.
Oh, I'm sure you said he was one of your favourites last
Now
night.
John might be
Nah.
picking him. He's not. He's never liked him.
Never been good.
I don't
He's
even
always
know-
been a bit cold on Guy
I've
Ritchie.
never watched his film. Pat goes and erases his memory of all the films he's watched.
All right, one more clue.
What?
Uh,
It wasn't Eurotrip.
no, it's not Eurotrip. It's
No.
not Eurotrip.
I'm feeling I know what it is.
Euro Trip. I fucking love
Yeah.
Euro Trip. I don't even care. I might
Alright.
pick.
The
To be
last-
fair, I hope you do, because
I-
that's a really funny film.
I do. I might.
It's not Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, is it?
No, that's probably as good a clue as you got to get. Is that it's not Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
It's the other one.
Yeah, it's the other one.
Snatch.
Lock.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's Snatch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's all right. I was going to say Lock.
I always thought Snatch was a sequel to Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
he's a
Uh,
shite, that boy.
You're a bad dag. Bad dag.
John's trying to claim the crime category, isn't he?
Well, he said he was trying to claim the action category with this one.
This is a crime
Action?
film.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
ain't action.
It seems crime to me.
So good try, but wrong.
It's
Nah, try, bitch.
it's very much crime.
Went to claim action, but I claimed crime instead.
You got nowhere near.
What the fuck?
I'm going to claim action. It's not action.
Oh.
Of course, it's action. It's not like it's got a sentient truck in it.
It's got a sentient snatch in it.
Oh, you're gonna have to put this video on 18 plus now.